Hello amigos, I'm Pablo Garcia, the engineer photographer. In these COVID times with the pandemic, I haven't been able to travel at all. And my plan was to go visit quite a few places this year, but I had to cancel all those plans. So what I'm doing is going back over my archives and finding images that I had edited in color a long time ago and re-editing those images for black and white. And every so often I find some old gems that I didn't even remember having in my computer and editing those images into black and white. As I evaluate those images, what I'm looking for are lines, textures, shapes, patterns, contrast in the light, contrast in the colors, so I can manipulate those during the conversion. And to do this, I'm using Nik Silver Efex Pro, which I feel is one of the best tools that exist for doing black and white. I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's the image that I showed you in the last episode, where I was telling you I had problems with this image since the trees were leaning towards the outside, the effect of using a wide angle lens pointed down to magnify the size of the boulders in the image. And then using Photoshop, in that video I show you how I corrected for that distortion and was able to straighten the trees. Now I really like this image. I like the simplicity, I like the texture and the light on the boulders, I like the light and the texture in the mountain and how the trees frame the mountain. Now I use Nik Silver Efex to do the conversion, and here is the resulting image, which I like a lot. Now, one of the problems with plugins until recently was that you went and used the plugin, whether it was from Nik or from somebody else, you changed the controls, you created a TIFF, you came back into Lightroom or whatever other tool you're using, and you lost basically what you did to that image. You can go back and re-edit the image. Now with the collection 3 of Nik added the ability to use multi-page format. Basically what that does is it saves the original image, in this case the color image that we sent to Nik for the first time. It saves the image that got processed by us in Nik, but it saves all the changes, all the controls within the same file. So the next time we open the image, Nik starts here, knows what it was done to the image and the resulting image. If we make additional changes, it's going to remember those changes and it's going to save the resulting image again. So we can go back to Nik as many times as we want to, making changes, and it gives us a lot more flexibility. So in this case, I'm going to show you what I did. So here's the original file. I'm going to do edit in Nik Silver Efex. I'm going to tell it I want to edit the original because, let's say I want to open the file that is the multi-page format. It's opening that file, and now Nik is processing basically the original image, color image, adding all the instructions and recreating what we have. Now I just want to show you why I like Nik so much. I'm going to turn on this panel on the left. When you first install Nik, it comes with quite a few recipes that you can select to do an initial conversion and basically get some inspiration. Or you can start with something that is neutral and you have a lot of flexibility on what you can do. So you have a lot of presets. I think there are over 40 presets that come in the library: modern, classic, vintage. You can also import presets. Some other photographers create presets, recipes. You can get them for free sometimes, or you buy them. And in the custom, you can create your own. You save, just like in Lightroom and many of the other tools that you can save presets, you can do the same thing. And I started saving some of my favorite ones to give me an initial starting point. On the right, we have all the controls, and Nik gives us a lot of flexibility. In the global adjustments, we have brightness, highlights, shadows, midtones, contrast, global contrast, or even just on the whites. On the blacks, we want to have a strong white points and a strong black points. We can soft contrast in the structure, similar to texture or clarity in some of the other tools. We can apply it just to the highlights, to the midtones, to the shadows. Again, a lot of flexibility. I'm going to skip the control points for a minute, but we can apply color filters, changing the hue and so on. We have film types, we can emulate films from many different manufacturers. We can apply grain. We can change the sensitivity or the conversion that we're doing to different colors, like reds and yellow. Let's say I wanted to darken the sky, I can just bring the blue down and it will darken all the blues. And we have levels and curves. We have finishing touches. We can apply different vignettes and burn into the edges. We just have a lot of flexibility in the tool, and that's why I like it so much. But what makes Nik famous for all the different tools is the technology that they call control points, which is a way of basically adding luminosity mass or luminosity points to different parts of the image. Here I added quite a few. I'm going to select one of them. You can see this area here in the boulder that I had on the lower left. I can change the size of that. The white area is what that control point is affecting. I can reduce it just to get the area right around the boulder. I can move it around a bit. Okay, let's say I wanted to change that. And then in that area that is affected, I can adjust brightness, contrast, structure, the whites, the blacks, the fine structure, similar to texture in Lightroom. And, you can add additional control points. In this case, I'm showing you the ones that I added to the boulders and to the mountain as I was trying to control in each of them the look of those elements. You can also create groups. In this case, here is a group that I created. It has 3 different control points that I put together as a single unit, as a single group. And I wanted to control the sky and to some extent the reflection of the sky on the water to be able to control the brightness or the structure in those elements of the image. And you can add as many control points. If I wanted to change the brightness or the contrast on the trees, I can do that, and so on. You can add control points and basically different areas of masking and controls that you can add. This is what makes Nik Silver Efex so powerful. And once you get familiar on how to use control points, you pretty much can use any of the other Nik tools like color effects and so on, because they use the same technology for control points. Here at the bottom, if you enable this box, save and edit later, basically that tells Nik that I want to use the multi-page format. Okay, so I'm just gonna save the file and go back to Lightroom. Now we're back here in Lightroom. Again, here is the before image. Here is the after image. Again, I think it resulted in a very nice image, but I want to show you some of the other conversions that I did. Here's an image that I took in Alaska 10-12 years ago. We were flying on a Cessna plane to a remote area near the town of Cordova, Alaska. This is the delta for the Copper River. This image was taken through the window, not the highest quality, and I did a black and white conversion, and here's the resulting image. I was able to soften the clouds, map to a nice middle tone, the green, the bright green of the prior image, and adding light to the river to have kind of nice flow within the scene. Again, before and after. Let's go to the other extreme of the American continent. This is a Torres del Paine National Park in the Chilean Patagonia, way in the south of Chile. These are the famous horns, los cuernos, long exposure to get us a very still lake. This is a really nice image, very blue, but the black and white conversion in Nik, I think, works really nice. Again, before and after. This other image I took a little over a year and a half ago in Moab, January of 2019. I like the erosion, the shapes on the hills. There is some texture in the sky that is hard to see in this color image, but in the black and white conversion, as you can see, I was able to add additional texture and contrast to the clouds and additional light to emphasize the shape of the hills. Again, before and after. And this final one is one of my favorite images from Moab. It's one of those jewels that I hadn't edited until I went searching on my files. This is the Colorado River, just in the town of Moab. It looks really nice in color, but I think in black and white it looks even better. I tried to go for kind of an Ansel Adams look with really dark skies, using the sensitivity of the blue channel, reducing that to almost zero, resulting in a really dark sky, and also reflection of the sky on the river. I added brightness and contrast to the sides of the canyon, and I think this image looks very nice. So this is before and this is after. I'll put the link here below to my website. I've been putting these images in a collection I call Grand Vistas in black and white in my website. I hope you like it. Well, amigos, I hope you like this quick review on Nik Silver Efex. If you haven't used it before, I really recommend it. If you already have it, spend some time. The more you use it, the better results you're going to be getting. And if you're liking my videos, please give me a thumbs up. Send me a comment what you would like to see in future videos. Take an opportunity to subscribe and tell a friend about this channel, and I'll see you next time.